This meeting is now being recorded.
This is really good.
All guests have been muted. You can unmute your line by pressing *6.
Press *39 to disable the beep after the speaker stream. No, we don't have that. Okay. Press red button to record. You already did that? Okay. You want to take your reading this voice of God? What, right? This for welcome? Or this for okay.
Right now, all participants on the call are in listen-only mode. To unmute your line, to ask a question or make a comment, you can remove yourself from mute by pressing *6 on your telephone line, or click on the speaker icon next to your name on the webinar screen. You can also enter your question into the chat box feature anytime, which is located on the lower left-hand side of your screen. Please remember to put your phone back on mute after you are done speaking to cut down on the background noise. And if you have to leave us briefly, please do not put the call on hold, since some phone systems play music or beep while on hold.
Thank you for joining our Welcome Webinar. This webinar is designed for individuals new to philanthropy, new to grant makers in health, or new to their organization. Our goal today is to orient you to GIH and provide information that helps you make the most of your participation in GIH. There will be plenty of time for questions, comments, and discussion at the end of the presentation. My name is Faith Mitchell, President and CEO of Grant Makers in Health. I first joined GIH in 2007 as Vice President for Program and Strategy, and I became President in late 2012. I'm joined today by my colleagues Beth Harris, Development Advisor, and Meryl Dann, Development Associate. We're excited to speak to you about GIH. And as mentioned earlier, you'll have a chance to ask questions and make comments, too. We want to get started by getting an idea of who's on the call. At the top of your webinar screen, you will see a poll icon. Please click on that icon to participate in the poll. The poll is going to ask you which description fits you the best. I'm going to slowly count to 5 in my head, get everyone time to complete the poll. One, two. Okay, we're having a few technical difficulties, so I'm going to continue talking while we figure that out. And I'll just say in advance, whichever category you chose, we want to thank you for your support of GIH, and we are committed to making sure you find the type of resources you are looking for to strengthen your grant-making practice. So again, welcome to Grant Makers in Health.
Everyone's interested in learning more.
Okay, we found out everybody is interested in learning more, which is perfect because you will in this webinar. So Grant Makers in Health is a nonprofit educational organization serving trustees and staff of foundations and corporate giving programs. Our vision is better health through better philanthropy. We help funders learn, connect, and grow. Our organization operates thanks to the support of our approximately 240 funding partner organizations. We are grateful to you for your financial support and participation because we couldn't do our work without you. Grantmakers in Health originated in 1978 at a Nathan's hot dog stand at a rest stop on the New Jersey Turnpike. In 1982, after several years as a part-time activity, GIH launched in New York as a fully staffed program of the Foundation Center with 12 funding partners and a first-year budget of $80,000. A decade later, we moved to Washington, where we've been located ever since. Over the years, GIH has continued to grow its constituency and capacity. Now, in our 36th year, GIH has a staff of 18 and is known as the professional home for the executive, staff, and trustees of foundations, corporate giving programs, and other health funding organizations. We work with hundreds of funders across the country, large and small, both locally focused and national in scope. Our budget has grown to roughly $4 million.
Hello, my name is Beth Harris. I'm the Development Advisor at GIH. Our diverse constituency of nearly 240 funding partners is made up of organizations in every region of the country and spans 38 states. Eligible funding partners include foundations and corporate giving programs of any size whose primary activity is grant making. It is important to note that GIH is not a membership association. It is an educational organization that serves the field of health philanthropy. Our work reflects the needs of the field as a whole. Okay, we're going to try a poll again. The majority of our funding partners are local and state funders with small to medium asset base. So in this poll feature, at the top of your screen, you'll see the word poll with 3 little bars. Please click on the poll icon to participate. The question this time is, what is your organization's geographic focus? Are you local, state, national, or international? Again, I'm going to slowly count in my head to 5 to give everyone a few moments to fill in your answers. Okay, I see we've got both national and local funders represented on the call today. Thanks so much for participating. I think we find that sometimes there's a sense that GIH serves more of the big national funders when in fact we actually have a broad constituency of smaller and local funders as well. Okay, and one more question. What is your organization's asset size? Again, at the top, please click on the poll icon and let us know, is it less than 10 million, between 10 and 50 million, 50 to 100, 100 to 200, 2 to 350, 350 to 750, or beyond. I'll give you another 5 seconds. If you don't know the answer, you're not compelled to participate. Okay, and again, I see we've got a range from all the way at the 100 to 200 million level up to the 750 million level. Great, a very diverse group. All right, to serve our funding partner organizations, we organize our programming into 5 broad categories. They include access to quality health care, equity, health across the life course, prevention and wellness, and foundation strategy and operations. Within those categories, GIH designs programming on 14 different issue areas, with 7 of our talented staff providing leadership. Allison Ferencevich is responsible for behavioral health, integrative health, and environmental health. Ann McMillan is responsible for access, health reform, and quality. Colin Peckrin is responsible for aging and healthy eating, active living. Eileen Solinsky is responsible for public policy and advocacy strategies and population health. Kate Traynor is responsible for foundation operations. Christina Gray-Aqua is responsible for disparities and social determinants of health. And Rana Suleiman is responsible for oral health in children and families.
Hi everyone, I'm Meryl Dann, Development Associate. As mentioned earlier, GIH serves a group of about 240 funding partners. GIH funding partners receive multiple benefits, a few of which are listed here on the slide. GIH webinars provide timely information to grantmakers nationwide and keep grant-making colleagues engaged around issues of mutual interest. Some of our recent topics include reflections on the healthcare system, better care for complex needs, and policy strategies to reduce the consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages. GIH e-forums allow funding partners to reach out and learn from their peers. Staff or trustees of funding partner organizations submit a question to be distributed to the issue area subscription list of their choice. Subscribers then send responses, which are compiled and distributed. Funding partners can also submit announcements to be distributed. From the monthly bulletin that delivers the latest news and information in the field to GIH surveys that highlight current trends in philanthropy, GIH also offers a variety of publications to help funders learn, connect, and grow. Employees of funding partner organizations are able to access GIH surveys, including our healthcare conversion survey, which was distributed last year. We are interested in your unique perspective and the work you're doing in the field. You can share your work your organization is doing by participating in a grantmaker focus. You can share your insights on health and health philanthropy by submitting a Views from the Field article. There are many ways to share your work, and we're excited to learn more about what your organization is contributing. Let's connect. We're active on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Click the icons below to follow our social media pages or to stay current with GIH events and new resources. You can also create an account on GIH's new funding partner portal to register for upcoming events, access recordings of past webinars, search the funding partner directory, and more. Just go to engage.gih.org or click on the image to register today. Additionally, I'd like to remind you all of the 2018 Grantmakers in Health Annual Conference on Health Philanthropy, which will be held from June 20th through 22nd in Chicago. The theme of this year's conference is Navigating Currents of Change. At the conference, you can expect to connect with other funders from across the country, discover new strategies to stay abreast of change, and discuss new priorities with your peers. Conference attendees will also have the opportunity to participate in Chicago area site visits. This year's conference offers an extended schedule. Registration is $799 for staff members of funding partner organizations and includes workshops, plenaries, breakout sessions, and a lot more. If you're attending the annual conference for the first time, please consider attending the Newcomers Welcome session, which will be held on Wednesday, June 20th at 11 a.m. GIH staff, including many who are on the call today, will be there to answer any questions you have and help you connect with your fellow newcomers. There's not a separate registration for this session, but there will be a field on the registration page for you to indicate that it is your first time attending a GIH conference. Registration is now open, so visit GIH.org today to attend the largest gathering of health funders in the country. Thank you all for joining us on this webinar today. We look forward to connecting with you in the future. We'll now open the time for questions from the chat box, or you can press *69 to unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question.
Okay, so we received one question through the computer. This is Beth speaking. And the question was, can you explain the difference between your two awards? And we'd be happy to. The first award is the Andy Hyman Award, which is granted every year to an outstanding advocacy grantee. And the other award is the Terrence Keenan Award. And that is granted to an exceptional foundation employee. So the difference is advocacy grantees versus the staff of our funding partner organization.
And this is Faith chiming in. In the case of both awards, the awardees are selected by outside committees. It's not GIH staff. There are volunteer committees that meet and consider the applications and then select the winners. And then both of the winners, the TK Award winner and the Andy Hyman Award winner, make plenary speeches at the annual conference.
And this is Meryl. We've had another question come into the chat, and this is one that I see a lot. Can we still submit items for the 2018 annual conference? So we are in the works with planning right now, and we cannot take items anymore for the 2018 annual conference, but we encourage you to submit anything you'd like for the 2019 annual conference, and that typically ends in the summer, soon after our conference in June.
Okay. Okay. This is Beth. We just got another question. Thank you, Emily. Can you talk about how you support strategic learning and evaluation program officers? I think maybe I could try, and then I would like Faith to chime in. So, Emily, we've got a lot of different sessions on the agenda at the annual conference, and some of them do speak specifically to questions of monitoring and evaluation, and we find that those individuals from the different foundations find each other at the conference. And so I think that that's certainly one way. And I know that over the course of the year, there are webinars and other learning opportunities that will focus on this question, but I think Faith can perhaps add to my response.
Hi, that's a good question, and I would just add that we also have a pre-conference session at, well, we used to call them pre-conference sessions, although now that our agenda has changed a bit, I would just say on the first day of the annual conference, we have a session that is for program staff, which would include evaluation staff that talks about some of the skills required to kind of enhance your abilities in that role.
Good. We've got essentially one more question, and if anybody else has a question, you can unmute yourself. You can ask it through the Global Meet platform. So I'll do one more, and then I'll see if there's others that come in. I can't make the conference. When is your next major event after the June Chicago meeting? At this time, I think that we have a meeting being scheduled for October that's going to focus on healthy eating, active living, and more details are forthcoming. And we also have every November the Fall Forum, which occurs here in Washington, D.C. This year we believe that will be a 2-day event, and the agenda for that meeting is still being set. But typically at least one of those days will focus on something policy related. It varies from year to year.
That's a national meeting, the Fall Forum. Like the annual conference, it's a national meeting, but it's a smaller meeting. It's usually about 100 people. Some people actually prefer the smaller format. But it's another good chance to meet funders from around the country and exchange ideas. This is Faith talking, and as Beth said, it's usually policy-oriented. I have a question, if there isn't one up there. I was hoping that either Beth or Meryl could elaborate a bit on the annual conference so that somebody who's, say, new to GIH could kind of get a sense of what goes on there, since that's our big flagship event every year. You know, what goes on?
So the annual conference is our premier event, and many people know us by our annual conference. We have over 700 participants who attend the annual conference each year. This year it's newly expanded, so it's a little bit longer, and it includes 3 full days of programming. For those of you who are new, I mentioned it earlier, but I would really encourage you to attend the Newcomers Welcome. That's a great chance to meet new people, and also seasoned grant makers. It's a great way to learn about what's happening at the conference, figure out what events you want to attend, etc. We're also looking into piloting a program where we could set you up with a buddy if you're interested in, you know, this is your first time, if you want to have someone to sort of show you the ropes at the conference. But otherwise, the conference is full of sessions. We have plenaries each day. We have several networking opportunities, including a reception on Thursday night. Beth, did you want to add anything else?
I think every year we try to experiment with different formats to keep it interesting and keep people moving. And so we've got now some shorter TED Talk style sessions as well as sort of a more traditional longer breakout session. We've got several different plenaries, including I think most recently, are we allowed to go live with the names of the plenary speakers?
Not quite yet.
Okay, all right. Well, some exciting names for plenary speakers, and it's fun, and it's a lot of fun, and I think we see that people enjoy meeting and talking with one another and getting to know their colleagues from across the country. So it's a good time.
And this is Faith again. I'll just say, even if you're new to philanthropy, not to be discouraged by the size of the meeting because people are very friendly and you won't get lost. And that's one reason it's good to go to the newcomers reception, because that will introduce you to other people who are new to the meeting. But we make efforts beyond that reception to make sure that people have a chance to connect with other funders, whether it's over breakfast or other informal gatherings, so that you won't feel like you're just, an anonymous person in a sea of faces.
So we'll wait a couple more seconds to see if anybody has any additional questions and has been shy to ask or just needed a few extra moments to gather their thoughts. I'll count to 10 slowly in my head.
And if you do think of something that you are too shy to ask right now, please feel free to reach out, and you can contact Beth or myself. This is Meryl. Our information is available on our website. You can find our email addresses there.
Okay. Thank you so much to everyone for participating in the webinar. We are excited to learn more from you and your organization. You'll receive an email after we conclude today that contains a link to an evaluation survey that will help us improve future welcome webinars. And I think that's it. If you're on the Eastern Seaboard, stay dry.
Thank you.